So I got a US General 30-inch tech cart, a 4-drawer. This one right there. They have two of these carts that are similar, but this is the smaller of the two. The other one's a 5-drawer, and it's like 280 bucks. This one here is typically, I think, like 230, 229.99 or something like that. But for Harbor Freight members, this has been on sale for $149.99, I think, for most of the month of February. So I just had to get one. They finally got a green one in stock, so it matches my other toolbox setup here. I love green, and I really like US General. Their toolboxes and everything, their carts. I need some more storage space, actually, because believe it or not, I'm already filling this up. So I wanted something else that had drawers on it. Kind of move around some fabricating tools, or some specialty tools or something. I got my garage warmed up to about 75, and it's 19 degrees outside. So I figured I'd get this thing assembled while it's still warm in my garage. Plus, I'm really excited to see what this thing looks like. So let's get to it. Alright, so I turned the time lapse off because I wanted to point something out. Before I started putting this together, I was wondering to myself how in the world I was going to get that heavy box, which it's not terribly heavy, but it's still heavy, right? I was wondering how I was going to get that box, either suspended in the air, or I'd have to flip the whole thing and do it one way or another. I don't have anyone to help me put this together, so I was wondering how this was going to work. Whoever engineered this thought of that. And they put these cross members in that not only act as extra support for the box, but the order in which you install these in the directions puts these cross members in before you do the box. So the box actually sits on those cross members, and then you don't need anyone to hold anything up for you. You just put it together, and I did tighten down all the, I'm gonna go through all the bolts again, but I did tighten down everything up here. I left the bottom ones loose because I didn't want to have that box be a tight squeeze. I want to be able to put this in there and then push these together, and then put it together that way. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to double check the directions, which so far so good, I think. Another thing too, this is the first time I've ever used my Avid Power electric ratchet. That's what that's even called. My brother loves these things. I typically prefer the gun style, and I will admit it works really well for tight spots and putting things together. So I highly recommend these. It's just this is the first time I've used it. So, and it appears that there are some sort of tabs on here that I think might help with the installation. Now, according to this box, the swivel casters are on the side that the handle goes on the box. I don't know if you have to do that exactly, but that's what I'm doing. So it's not terrible, but it's not late either. I hope I have those cross members on right. I think I followed the directions. Oh. Eureka moment. I get it. Wow, that's funny. I was so confused for a minute. Thought this thing was fitting kind of weird. So I do have the cross members in correctly. I was just wondering why in the world. I thought the toolbox went over these tabs and then went up to this for some reason. I was wondering if these nuts and the end of these bolts would be in the way. But this is actually where you stick like long screwdrivers and crowbars and whatever else would fit through these holes. So that's kind of funny. Got to make sure that both these tabs are on the outside of the toolbox, which I don't think that you would really be able to assemble this if they weren't. So everything needs to be tightened down more anyway, so it'll, you know, it'll pull in closer. But all right, I'm just gonna go through and put everything in. Okay, so it's days later. I still have to finish putting all the hardware in this thing. So that's what I'm gonna do. I just have some to tighten on the bottom, and then there's a few up top I gotta do. So not much left. Well, I think I have it all put together. I do have some extra hardware in here, and I'm so confused right now on what that's for. I have ADHD really bad, and I move between projects a lot. This clip right now is actually days after I begin putting this together. So I basically just went to go finish up what I left off on, and I had a couple bolts that I had to put in, carriage bolts and a few nuts, and it helps a lot if you have a ratcheting 13 millimeter, a normal 13 millimeter, and a 13 millimeter socket. In this case, I'm using a 3/8. This is an Avid Power electric deal. The nice thing about this is that this isn't a huge power tool, you know. It's not going to torque things down like an impact wrench, but what it does, when you get to the pretty much as far as this tool can go, it actually pushes itself instead of the bolt. See that? It actually hurts if you're holding on real tight, and it does that. But it's kind of a really good torque spec for doing stuff like this, because these locking nuts are like tight enough that it's assembled properly, but you're not over tightening the crap out of it. So very cool. I highly recommend one of these. And then I did use an extension to get these far over nuts. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure this thing's all put together. Everything is tight, and so far so good. It really is a cool little rolling cart here. I don't know for sure yet. I want to make this cart like designated for a certain type of tool, so I don't know what that entails yet. The cool thing about this is, try to see if I have anything here. Here's kind of an example. So this isn't very long, but it's a longer screwdriver. These holes in the side are so you can put long tools through and then lock the top, and then no one can steal your 2-foot long expensive Snap-on tools or whatever. Not what I have, but this is somewhat long. Okay, so that fits through. See what I mean? So you can put all kinds of tools in there. You can put spud wrenches, screwdrivers, pry bars. And then obviously it has the top part here, which would be kind of your more common tools, or it's a place to put parts. And it is close to, you could say 4 inches, but to be safe, I'd say like 3 3/4 maybe. I don't know, I guess it depends on, I wouldn't want to put anything in here and then slam this lid down and then leave an indent of like a socket or something. But yeah, you have all this room up here, obviously the side storage, which you don't have to use if you want. You can just throw tools in the side like that, and they're obviously not going to fall through when they're horizontal. And this does have 4 drawers. These lock too. I forget, when you close this lid, it locks everything, I think. Let's test that quick. I don't want to be lying to anybody. It kind of slams hard. I don't like that. You know, this is just me, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to get some little sticky pads or something, just cut a piece of like that rubber material that's meant to go on sheet, that's meant to go on metal sheeting, sheet metal. Get some of that, maybe stick it on there. That way when you shut this, it doesn't slam down so hard. These two gas strut things or whatever do a really good job though of, you know, moving the thing. Oh yeah, so if you shut this, it's supposed to lock everything. I don't think that drawer was shut enough. So you gotta make sure everything's shut. That's locked. That's locked. Yep, it's all locked now. And then these here are the locks. These push down when you shut the lid. So if you ever open this up and your drawers aren't coming out and you see one of these, if you see one down and one up, one side is locked. So I hope that when I unboxed this and started putting it together, because it was really awkward kind of doing it by myself, I hope that some like nuts and bolts or like, you know, some important piece of whatever that this thing came with didn't fall behind the drawers, because it's closed on the back side. I feel like this top drawer here doesn't look like it goes in as far as it should. Maybe it's just me. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me, but anyway. So you got these two top drawers. One thing that's cool about these is you could literally, you know, do one SAE and one metric, and they'd be separated. I hate it when people mix metric and the SAE stuff. It drives me nuts. I always separate them. There's plastic on these handles, by the way, that needs to come off. See that? I hate that crap. Anyway, and then you got this drawer, which, oh yeah, sorry, the top ones are, I guess we'll measure to here. Maybe 2 1/8. 2 1/8 for the top ones, and then I would say absolutely at most 3 inches for this drawer, but I would actually say less than that. I'd say 2 7/8 or 2 3/4. And then here's the bottom drawer. This is the deepest one, and I'm gonna try to spread that stuff out a little bit. It's nice that they give you this, and it really helps. Like, I have another rolling US General cart that there may or may not be a video out about it already, but I think I mentioned in the video some of the parts of these that don't have these mats. It's really loud when you throw your tools on it, but these mats dampen the sound, so that's not bad at all. But if this were missing, see what I mean? It's just a little bit louder, which may not seem like a big deal, but I don't know, it always helps if you have a headache and you're working on something. So this is at most 4 1/4, but to be safe, I'd say below that. So not bad though. You'd be surprised. Like sometimes I get things to fit in this toolbox that it like completely surprises me. I just stuck something in here the other day that did that. Huh. Oh yeah, so like, see this? This is a Bauer 20 volt inflator. Look how close it is. Look at that. Look how close that is. Isn't that hilarious? It does not touch. It absolutely fits. I think it's funny. But yeah, it might surprise you what you can fit in here. And then of course you got the whole bottom of this, which I'm really bad about utilizing carts. That cart there doesn't have much on the bottom. This doesn't have much on the bottom. Neither one of those has anything on it. And I got my vise tool stand and my bandsaw tool stand, both of which have a bottom shelf that I can put together. I haven't done it yet, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't utilize it. So I really need to utilize that better, because the more tools you get and the more projects you're into, you need the space, and gotta utilize stuff the best you can. So you can even put, put some stuff in the bottom there. This is a really cool little tool cart. Really can't beat it for 150 bucks. I really cannot believe how cheap things are today. And I don't mean built cheap. I just mean I can't believe that they can sell this for 150 bucks, which it's normally, still only like $229 or something. So not bad at all. This is a very cool cart. Super glad they had it in green. I do have another one of these carts, the even smaller one that has one drawer. I have a video on that as well. It may or may not be uploaded already. That's a cool cart as well. I use that for my shipping operation I have in my basement. I probably have some sort of tool video sometime, and when that time comes, I'll fill this thing with tools and I'll show my setup. I'm gonna redo this toolbox too. I also like watching other people's videos and looking at posts on Facebook, trying to find better storage ideas. I have a laundry list of tools that I need to get, so I got to find a place for everything. I'm already filling everything up, and I don't like having drawers overflowing, with stuff, and it makes it harder to get things, and I like to kind of spread them out evenly so everything's accessible when it needs to be. But highly recommend it. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Hopefully maybe I can find where these bolts go. I don't know if these are extras or what. Honestly, it's baffling me. So I'm gonna have to look at this thing more. All right, I was looking at this and I realized that 4 of these carriage bolts actually go back there. I don't know how I missed that, but I got 4 right here, 4 knots and 4 washers, and then it looks like they gave you 1 extra carriage bolt, 1 extra Phillips, and looks like 2 extra nuts. I'm sorry, 2 extra carriage bolts, 4 washers, and a tiny little nut. Unless I'm missing something somewhere, which I don't think I am now. I'm somewhat confident now, but anyways, I just gotta put those in there. Do the bottom one first, probably be easier that way. It is kind of back in that corner. Awkward, but oh. I guess this will make it easier. If I really want to, I can snug these down a little bit. Really no reason to go overboard with it. Alrighty, that's the rest of the bolts. Anyway, yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.